and welcome to today's video. If you are new here, my name is Shay Madeline and I am an artist and also a hobbyist that lately has been taking a lot of interest in more like whimsical art projects. But this video actually is not really exploring those new whimsical art projects that I've been trying, but instead is focusing on a series that I started previously a few weeks ago or even a few months ago at this point. I don't actually know. But this is video number 3 in me redrawing art that I created as a child. Now, if you don't know, I am in fact an adult at this point, so I have had quite a few years since making this art to improve my skill, and especially in the last few years, I have really started to get into my art and just the passion of being a creative individual, so I think that my ability has increased quite a bit so far. Today's video though, I am kind of cheating a little bit because the art that I am basing today on was actually a print that I made when I was in high school, and instead of doing another print or even a traditional drawing, I'm just going to do a digital drawing because I think that would be more enjoyable. All in all though, today's video will be a pretty short one because unfortunately when I was drawing this, I did forget to push the screen record button on my iPad, so the only footage I actually have is the time-lapse video that Procreate automatically generates when you're making a drawing. So with that, it will be pretty quick because it really does speed up the process quite a bit, but I think it'll still be enough to give you a gist of what I was doing and kind of just be a short and sweet video for this week. But with that little introduction out of the way, I think we've yapped enough and are ready to kick off this video and really get into the meat of this art piece for the week. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so if you have seen the other two videos for this series, which I do highly recommend that you go watch first, you will see that this footage is the same footage where I went through and I chose some art pieces. So this is actually the piece right here that I am recreating today. It is a little print of a dog and a boy running on a farm. I think it's really cute in concept, but not a good drawing or print altogether. And because of that, that is why I decided to redraw that for today's video. So I do not usually draw landscape type of drawings, but luckily because the one I'm using as a reference is just like a rolling hill situation, there are a lot of really cool and really pretty references out there that I was able to use while making this drawing. Additionally, something I was able to do, which was pretty fun, was use a lot of my background knowledge about how color works to know that as I get farther away from the camera per se, the hills will be less saturated and a little bit more blue. Another fun thing about this project is that I was also able to have fun and mess around with some brushes that I don't usually use, such as this comb brush which I use to make that grass texture that you can see on every single hill. Another new brush that I used is, I think I used a mixture of a smoke brush and a cloud brush that I have from a set in order to make that skyline you see behind everything, and I think it looks pretty cool. The clouds aren't necessarily my favorite, but I think they're pretty cool. They just might be a little bit too realistic looking for the kind of art style that I am going for and ultimately do achieve by the end of this. But that little complaint is not to say that I'm not happy with this drawing. I am in fact very happy with how this turned out. Now, I am an artist that usually does character art at this point. I do sometimes do landscapes or background art, but I'm not super good at them usually, so I think that doing this piece was just a good chance to practice that and just build onto those skills that I do have. But I also was able to do a little bit of character design and character art by drawing that dog, and then of course, as I had in my past drawing, there's also a boy running with a dog, so I was able to draw a boy as well. And I do tend to usually draw women when I draw characters, so this again was another chance to just learn something new, but while still keeping it simple enough that I wasn't overwhelmed. I feel like sometimes when I try to change my art style or try a completely new project, I go too far too fast and then I easily get overwhelmed and then it just kind of makes me shut down and I don't usually finish the piece. So I'm glad with this one, while I was redrawing from something from my childhood, I could also actually do something that I was happy to do and enjoyed doing throughout the process. But this is where it ended. This is not my usual art style at all, but I really am happy with how it turned out and I think it looks lots better than that print that I originally did, and I'm really happy with it all in all. I think that it was really fun and I would definitely consider doing an art project like this again. But for now, I think this is where I'm going to leave it. If you made it this far, please do consider liking and subscribing because it lets me know that you want me to make more art like this or just more videos like this in general. And thank you so much if you did make it to the end. I hope you go forth and have a very creative and art-filled day.